Do you ever find yourself feeling overwhelmed or detached from your emotions? In this video, we dive into 7 things hidden depression can make you do, and how the philosophy of Stoicism can help navigate these challenging feelings. Lesson 1. You begin by critiquing yourself. Self-judgment is among the first and sneakiest symptoms of hidden despair. If you have hidden depression, you may discover that you are always critiquing your feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. You could become your own worst enemy, critiquing every small error or apparent shortcoming. This self-criticism can set off a vicious cycle of pessimistic ideas that exacerbate sadness and make it more difficult to recognize your actual value. Self-judgment is acknowledged in Stoicism as an example of the logical thought. The Stoics held that our emotional reactions are determined by our judgments rather than by outside circumstances. Prominent Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius highlighted that we need to develop the ability to discriminate between things that are under our control and those that are not. Self-judgment frequently entails brutally criticizing oneself for our flaws as human beings or accepting responsibility for events beyond our control. Stoicism encourages us to evaluate ourselves rationally and with self-compassion in order to combat this. Rather than passing judgment on ourselves too quickly, we ought to make an effort to view our thoughts and behaviors objectively. This implies that we see our shortcomings and errors clearly and logically rather than ignoring them. Our goal should be to grow from our errors rather than allow them to define who we are. Journaling, a Stoic habit, can be especially beneficial in this situation. You can identify areas where you might be unjustly evaluating yourself by putting your thoughts down on paper and giving them some attention. This practice can assist you in gradually cultivating a more compassionate and self-aware self-image. Remember that unreasonable notions of control and perfection are frequently the foundation of self-judgment. You can learn to identify these illogical thoughts and change them out for more sensible, helpful ones by adopting Stoic ideals. Lesson 2. You experience powerful feelings. Overwhelming emotions are another indicator of hidden depression. These feelings, which can vary from extreme melancholy to unexplained rage or worry, may come in waves and seem to appear out of nowhere. You can have a persistent feeling of being on the verge of tears, or you might get easily upset or frustrated about little things. These intense feelings can be draining and perplexing, particularly if you don't know why they are occurring. Although emotions are normal, Stoicism emphasizes that we shouldn't let them rule our lives. According to the Stoics, feelings are frequently the product of our perceptions and judgments rather than the actual happenings. Put another way, our interpretation of the circumstances shapes our feelings rather than the actual circumstances themselves. For instance, if you are experiencing extreme grief, it can be the result of your unfavorable interpretation of the circumstances. Maybe instead of looking at things from a more balanced standpoint, you are thinking about what you have lost rather than what you still have, or you are planning for the worst-case scenario. Stoicism pushes us to question these explanations and look for a better logical reason for our feelings. You can improve your ability to control intense emotions by practicing mindfulness and logical thought. This entails being aware of your feelings and deciding how to react to them rather than repressing them. You can lessen the effects of concealed depression and develop emotional resilience over time with the help of this technique. Lesson 3. It's hard for you to express your painful emotions. Difficulty expressing or communicating painful sentiments with others is a common result of hidden depression. It's possible that you're afraid of being misinterpreted or that your feelings are too strong to express. You consequently suppress your emotions, which may cause you to feel alone and isolated. Because you feel cut off from others around you and unable to get the help you need, this might exacerbate your depression. A distinct viewpoint on expressing emotions is provided by Stoicism. The Stoics held that although we should make an effort to regulate our emotions, it's equally critical that we be truthful with one another and with ourselves about how we're feeling. According to Marcus Aurelius, it's critical to stay loyal to oneself and avoid disguising one's actual feelings. According to Stoic philosophy, Expressing your emotions, even if they hurt, is never shameful. But it's important to express these emotions in a meaningful and productive way. Stoicism urges us to communicate our sentiments in order to gain understanding and come up with solutions, as opposed to complaining or venting, which can exacerbate unpleasant feelings. For instance, you could talk about your feelings with a therapist or close friend if you are having trouble dealing with depressive or hopeless thoughts. You can approach the talk with curiosity and a desire to gain a deeper understanding of your emotions rather than just venting your sorrow. This can assist you in gaining fresh perspective on your circumstances and figuring out how to proceed. Expressing your emotions does not imply weakness or a loss of self-control. Quite the contrary, it can be an effective means of regaining emotional mastery and forging closer, more enduring bonds with others. You can learn to communicate your feelings in a genuine, helpful, and therapeutic way by adhering to Stoic ideals. Lesson 4. You lose interest in things you used to love. Losing interest in past interests or occupations is a common sign of concealed depression. It may happen gradually to the point where you stop looking forward to activities that used to delight or make you happy. You might begin to completely shun these things, or you might just go through the motions without truly feeling satisfied or involved. This disinterest can cause you to feel as though you've lost touch with your passions and life's purpose, which can be extremely upsetting. But Stoicism provides a method for meeting this challenge with fortitude and a fresh sense of direction. The Stoics held that our sense of fulfillment and purpose originates internally, rather than from accomplishments or actions outside of ourselves. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus argued that genuine fulfillment and happiness come from living a life that is guided by our ideals and beliefs rather than from frivolous or external pleasures. It could be beneficial to consider the significance of the activities you formerly enjoyed if you notice that you are becoming disinterested in them. Which ideals or concepts did they share? If you used to love painting, for instance, was it because it gave you a way to connect with your emotions, express your creativity, or find calm? You can look for new methods to live out the underlying ideals these activities represented in your life once you've determined what they are. This could entail discovering new interests or hobbies that fit your requirements and situation right now. As an alternative, if you approach your former pastimes with a new outlook, you might regain your love for them. Persistence and resilience are other important lessons learned from Stoicism. It's not necessary to completely give up your activities just because you're not as passionate about them as you once were. Even if you don't feel like it, sometimes just turning up and participating in the activity will eventually help rekindle your interest. It's also critical to keep in mind that it's acceptable for your passions and hobbies to change throughout time. Since change is an inevitable aspect of life, Stoicism teaches us to remain adaptive and flexible. Instead than feeling obligated to stick with old hobbies, give yourself permission to discover new paths to happiness and meaning. You can handle the loss of interest in your passions with perseverance and a fresh sense of purpose if you face this problem with a Stoic mindset. Consider it an opportunity to grow and expand in new and important ways rather than a sign of defeat. Lesson 5. You seek assistance but withhold it. The propensity to request assistance but then downplay or conceal the need for it is one of the paradoxical behaviors connected to hidden depression. You may ask for help from someone, but when they accept you, you downplay your difficulties or act as though nothing is wrong. Both you and those who wish to assist you may feel frustrated and powerless as a result. This kind of behavior can result from thinking that you should be able to manage things on your own or from a fear of being vulnerable. But Stoicism emphasizes that real strength comes from realizing our interconnectedness with others, not from being strong in solitude. The idea of oikeiosis, or the notion that all beings are interconnected and that our well-being interacts with that of others, was held by the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius talked about how important it is to understand that we are all a part of a greater whole and that it is normal and necessary for us to help others as well as be helped in return. Think about your views about vulnerability and strength if you find yourself requesting assistance but keeping it to yourself. According to Stoicism, Asking for help from others is not a sign of weakness, but rather of wisdom and self-awareness. When seeking assistance, make an effort to be forthright and truthful about your difficulties. Do not minimize your emotions or act as though nothing is wrong. Instead, be open to sharing your own feelings and ideas. This can help you obtain the assistance you require to recover and develop, as well as foster a stronger feeling of connection and trust with those who are important to you. Stoicism also stresses the significance of humility and thankfulness. Consider an offer of assistance as a gift from someone and a chance to deepen your relationship with them. Thank them for their support, and let yourself be receptive to it. Recall that asking for assistance is an acknowledgement of our common humanity rather than a sign of weakness. You can develop the ability to ask for and accept assistance in a genuine, beneficial, and restorative manner by adopting the Stoic concepts of interdependence and gratitude. Lesson 6. You distinguish your emotions. Emotional detachment. The experience of being cut off from your own feelings can result from hidden depression. It's possible that you're just going through the motions in life, emotionally detached, or that your feelings are hidden away in a separate area of your brain. It can be challenging to completely interact with life when there is a sensation of emptiness and alienation brought on by this separation of feelings. According to Stoicism, emotional detachment is the ability to recognize and control our emotions in a sensible and helpful manner, as opposed to denying or repressing them. The Stoics held that we may alter our emotional responses by altering our thinking, since emotions are our body's natural reactions to ideas and perceptions. Examining the ideas and viewpoints that are causing you to feel emotionally disconnected could be beneficial if you notice that you are experiencing this experience. Are there some feelings you're trying to avoid because they hurt or overwhelm you too much? Do you fear losing control or becoming exposed? Instead of ignoring or repressing our emotions, Stoicism pushes us to face them head-on with bravery and candor. This does not imply that we should let our emotions to rule us. Rather, it means that we should make an effort to comprehend them and act in a way that is consistent with our morals and beliefs. The view from above technique, which involves visualizing yourself viewing your life from a higher viewpoint, is one Stoic technique that can assist with this. This can assist you in becoming more detached from your current feelings and able to perceive the wider picture. You can more objectively and clearly reflect on your feelings when you look at them from this angle. Recall that emotional distance can keep us from really appreciating life's richness, even though it is frequently a protective mechanism that shields us from misery. You can learn to control your emotions so that you can interact with life more fully and honestly by adopting Stoic ideas. Lesson 7. The search for meaning and purpose obsesses you. The concern with figuring out life's meaning and purpose is one of the more subdued indicators of concealed sadness. There may be a persistent push on you to find your purpose or accomplish something big, and this pressure can get to be too much to handle. No matter how much you consider it, you never seem to find the answers or clarity you're seeking for. You may spend hours scrutinizing your life, second-guessing your choices, and hunting for explanations. Although it is a normal aspect of the human experience, the pursuit of meaning and purpose can become troublesome when it becomes an obsession. Stoicism argues that living our daily lives in accordance with our beliefs and principles is where we find meaning and purpose, not in accomplishments outside of ourselves or in abstract ideals. Stoicism also emphasizes the value of embracing life's mystery and tolerating unpredictability. It's acceptable if we don't always have definitive solutions to life's big questions. The Stoics held that the journey itself is what matters most in the pursuit of meaning, not the answers we find at the end. You can discover fulfillment and purpose in life that are based on facts rather than idealistic concepts by living in the present and adhering to your principles. This method can assist you in finding serenity in the present moment and escaping the vicious cycle of compulsive thought. Many subtle behaviors and ideas that are simple to miss or misinterpret are common signs of hidden depression, but you may better understand your emotional condition and take effective action to deal with it by identifying these symptoms and putting the tenets of Stoicism to use. by encouraging emotional resilience, finding meaning in everyday life, and cultivating self-compassion and logical thought. Stoicism provides effective strategies for treating the symptoms of hidden depression. By applying these lessons to your life, you will be able to face hidden depression head-on with bravery, insight, and clarity. Remember that the path to mental and emotional well-being is about learning to confront challenges with grace and courage rather than about reaching perfection or getting rid of all problems. You can get the direction and encouragement you require to lead a life filled with meaning, contentment, and inner serenity by looking through a lens of Stoicism.